Good morning, everybody. I think we've got the Lady Hippie here, most of me anyway. It's already being one of those days, and I'm early. I'm fidgeting. I don't know why I do this. I guess I'm just not used to being, I don't know, on camera. It always seems like I'm wearing my clothes backwards or some crap. I don't know. I give up. In any event, it's for entertainment purposes only, and there are some people that like to watch a woman fidget till she looks even stupider than when she began. I'm going to be here all week. I got a lot to do today, so we won't get into that nightmare. Um, I have had another loved one add a very spurious message to one I had dropped on Facebook. I got to admit that one hurt a little bit. Yeah, totally unexpected. It seems that friends and family don't want me to continue to do this. I don't know why. That's not put in there. The only thing that's being sorry, I'm going to play with that. The only thing that's being put in there is, a couple of swear words and like piss off already, Not figuring that out, but I'm not going to quit. When my viewers ask me to quit, they just don't have to watch anymore and I'll go away. But I really don't think that's the way other people are. Just a bit of a background once again, guys. I'm a published author, an Army veteran. Uh, Lots of things I've done in my day. So I'm kind of used to being the boss, which I love this medium about because I'm kind of the boss. I do have a silent plea to put out there for prayer, for one, and to please like, share, subscribe. I am desperate to prove a few people wrong, completely wrong. I don't think that many of them thought I would do this. And then I began to have fun doing it. And it seems to have grown from there. Sorry, my trees are actually blooming. So I took my allergy medicine, but it's like, really? You're going to try this and like that out? Anyway, I sure could use your support. I really could. Even if you just see a blurb of me, hit a like. I know it takes a second or two, depending if your phone or your tablet or your laptop or your TV. But please, if you see me, I don't care if you actually put anything on, just like it. Give me a break. I'd like to prove a whole lot of people it turns out wrong. The people that I thought would be encouraging this, knowing that I've wanted to do this for a long time. And not so much. No. Um, Again, I got to admit, I would put more thought into that, but if I do, I would dwell only on the hurt and not the person who's doing it. So if that's where they feel, they don't have to swear at me on Facebook. They don't have to call me names. All they have to do is not watch. Not watch. Not only are they, I guess, partially watching, but I'm getting critiques along the way. It's like a food critic. Yeah, this shit tastes like. But I may rebrand. I may start throwing videos in. I'm considering that. It's a social Woodstock. This is what I started it for. I thought it would be absolutely a great venue for baby boomers / hippies, however you want to. I'm a hippie. I'm just, yes, I'm a hippie. Again, that does not make, even if you use the word contact hippie with drug addict, you really ought to stop that because I was a hippie when I was like 10. So, that's a little hard to abuse drugs. At least I think so, for God's sake. Oh, there they go. The commercials are so cute. You can hear them down the street, outside, upstairs. I'll be listening to music behind me by 12 feet and I can't hear it. But you put that commercial on, I could run outside and listen to that whole puppy. Again, I hate to actually ask, but again, share, like, throw a comment in like, lady, do this, or don't do that. But try to be kinder than my family has been to me, because it's hard. I'm an adopted woman. Found when I was 30, threw me away again. I got a story about that. My husband's family is interwoven with the blood world family of my own. Take, for example, his sister, who found me at the age of 30, was married to my half brother. Now, I did get to meet the birth mother a few times, and when she passed away, my husband and a few other relatives of his insisted, although again, the relatives go in and out. Between marrying him and gaining those relatives, there were also relatives that were married to the bloodline that I am. And so, of course, he talked me into going to the funeral. And we were stood in the back while they were talking. Wasn't no seat for us or nothing. That was all filled with other family members. And they said, okay, and we're going to move the body to the funeral, to the gravesite. And people got in the limo, and my husband is dragging me along, going, you've got to, I returned from Texas for this. You got to go and get in the limo. You're part of the family. Like, you're crazy. I don't want to be in that limo. I'm not part of the family. I'm just the birth thing. They don't even talk to me. What are you, crazy? And he kept pulling, kept pulling, kept pulling. And then, of course, somebody reaches an arm out. It turns out to be one of the half brothers, the one that was the truck driver. And the other one was the hypocrite. Oh, yeah, Jehovah's Witness. And I let his congregation know how much of a hypocrite he was. So I step into the limo, and each person says, no, there's no room. You can't come. Meanwhile, half of the limo is empty, and they're pushing me forward to the next door. So I called it the in the limo, out of the limo, because within 2 seconds, I'd been pushed through a door on the other side. So that was fun. But I did not want to be in there in any event. But I was so embarrassed. I wish the world would have swallowed me right then and there. And it turned out that the person who ran that funeral home, she saw what happened, and she knew who I was. That funeral home had been my husband's family's business, and they had sold it not long to my meeting all of them. There was a lot of them. Apparently, none of them like me. Births or not. There were a couple of uncles that were very sweet to me, and I won't lump them in there, and an aunt. And in any event, they've already gone. But here I just could not die fast enough when they did that to me. And like I said, the owner of the funeral home saw that. And they put us last in the processional to go to the grave so that everybody would be gathered and so forth by the time we could find a place to park. That was fun. Wasn't getting out. I wasn't even going to go. Of course, my husband drove straight through. Yep, went straight there. So, and again, it was standing in the back in the rain. Not even under the awning. It was just out in the rain. And Mary suddenly walked across to a few people in the front row and pointed back at me. And they were saying something. And she was shaking her in the head no. And about 4 or 5 of the kids got up and went to the back. And she by then come to me and said, you're her daughter, used to be in the front row. Again, you could have but I did when I was, but she had gone to some trouble to do that. And I will be forever in her debt for doing that. I didn't feel as bad. They also knew that I hadn't been around. They didn't look for me till my husband's sister looked for me due to being Native American. We were on the Parade magazine when I was 8 years old, or maybe 9, on the cover, and there were 4 or 5 inserts in there because my parents were like grandparents' age, World War IIers, literally, but they adopted me and my sister, and so this gave them an extra check for each child per month, and they were able to buy a home. So when I was reached out to at the age of 30, it was because the half brother's wife, my husband's sister, had called him on the first try of looking us up. It turned out they had put our name in there, where we lived. They just didn't include the phone number, but they did include the address, I believe. Incredibly funny. Excuse me. So she makes the one call. She gets the brother I was raised with, another adopted boy. But they actually was his nephew and they bought him. That's another story. Got a sister crying and screaming on the phone, please go, I can't go if you go, no, 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 no. And that's how it started. She went back home and I went back, got my things, and I was moved here. That's another bad story. Crying the whole time. They had quit my job for me. Well, it was a nightmare. It was just a waking nightmare, and I could not get up. And I was reminded yesterday that it's been a decade since I've had to deal with these people. And my mother raised me with manners. I might not have been there too long, but I had manners. And you don't talk to your elders that way. You don't do this, you don't do that. So I was just relieved not to be there. And again, my eyes are gone. So, I never went back. That's it for me. It's been 12 years and I'm happy as a lark. And I didn't even think about these people or how my feelings were hurt or what did I do after 30 years to make you hate me? Why did you look for me, kind of thing? This is what I wanted to write another book about. I already published a book, but it was like Lord of the Rings. But I really, really, really wanted to warn other adoptees. I don't also know why, but my records are court ordered sealed until 2060. Obviously, I'm not going to make it there. Don't know why. Mine and the sisters, and she's passed on. And so has my brother. They've passed on. So technically, the only relatives I have, well, most of them are gone even on the blood side, but his relatives are there. And apparently somebody wants me to stop, or they want to make me cry or worry. I really don't know. After 34 years being in and out of the Georgia area, I will say, I've never understood why certain family members, especially of my husband's, really hate me. There's just no other word to describe it. They hate me. And I have hardly ever been around any of them. So I don't know what it is I've done. And if I did know, I wouldn't change a damn thing. Because I don't need them in my life. Never did, never will, no, now. Not going to happen. But then I have a husband, and they're his family. And I've never said, don't go see your family. Don't. If you want your family to come here, great. I can hotel room. And I'm serious to God. I'm not going to put up with any of them. And they don't want to see me because I forget about the red hair sometimes. And I go from zero to bitch in a nanosecond. And I will come for you. I'll find a bat, a gun. I don't care. You guys got away with making me miserable for 20 odd years. I mean, actively miserable, even working two jobs and so forth. Just awful. Um, didn't even know me. And I had the same problem. But that's pretty much about me. Other than to explain that maybe I don't have as much confidence as I should have. Um, I really wanted it to be social media. I really wanted to be able to reach out and talk to people everywhere. I wanted to be able to say it is peace and love. We can, love each other. It can be peace. I wanted to do all those things. So I added social Woodstock to the description of the video. And again, I hesitate to say how people thought that went down. I'm going to have to go with not very well. And it was difficult this morning to do a podcast. A lot of this went down on yesterday's and the day before podcast, and I still did it. Still doing it now. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Never was. Ain't now, ain't gonna be. I just wanted to enjoy this medium. I was all excited. I've run all over the world until I couldn't go anymore. And I grew up without relatives. I did not have one graduation attended by anybody, not even boot camp or whatever. No college, no high school, no nothing. So technically, I really never had parents. I mean, they were there. You got something to eat. You went to your study. You got a shower. You left. I mean, it was wasn't like parenting that I was saying. And may my son forgive me, I'm not a clingy mother either. I think I've done my job. And if I did my job right, my child is fine and doesn't need me every day. And I did my job right. My son is at the top of his career, and so is his wife. I'm very proud of both of them. I tend to either send ahead of time, a message or something to say, "Can you invite mom to dinner?" or, or "When can you?" And of course, the high holidays is what Catholics want. And I haven't said anything to them about what's going on. Uh, the husband knows, but family comes first. And I don't think wives fall into the category of family comes first. Apparently, relatives come first. So that would hurt. We bet. We bet. It's not doing things great around here either, I got to admit. So I really wish I could just jump in this with full force and just do something. Talk to each other. I mean, I'm a lonely duck. I'll admit, I'm a lonely buck. I really am. Um, I would just, I would be over the moon if I have live chat on. If I could just get some more viewers, if you could just like it, share it, add comments so that I would know that they're not right, that there really are people just like me that want to talk about stuff, they want to learn stuff. I want to know how many times they changed the Bibles and Qurans and the Mormons, and I want to know why there are so many. I want to know why there's a false church. I want to know how they built the pyramid and other amazing things in Egypt. I'm a history buff. I talk too much, and I agree to all the above. So once again, I'm going to ask that everybody give me a shout. I think still might be a little too much. Give me a shout, holler at me. Everybody else does lately. Doesn't really bother me. I suppose it's supposed to, which is why it's put out in the public. And if you look, you'll see. Uh, Everybody's a right to their own opinion, freedom of speech. So I'm not going to change that. Miss my eyes this morning. So I said, okay, somebody in the world is having a worse day than me. Not so much. um, well, I don't see any good news. I put it that way. The IDF is still being told to stop it. They're still trying to get America to do something to them. I don't know what, because if you poll, and they supposedly did, 80% of Americans stand with Israel. If I were 20 hours, I'd be over there. I mean, that's not in question. Once we said never again. So what do you guys see? You seeing something I'm not? Or does it look like it's happening again? I'm going to have to go with this look like it's happening again. They showed Dubai running water. They showed, I think it was again Dubai or Mecca one. Just yesterday got a blizzard. They got like 5, 6 feet of snow. This is not normal, guys. It's Dubai. It's Mecca. It's a desert. So something's going up with that. I keep saying it's biblical. You can put it any way you want. Something's changed. I don't think it's global warming, however, but that's what they're saying. Um, mm. So I listened to some music, got myself ready for the day. So all of you wonderful people could get up there and say nothing. Just cut a woman a break. I intend to not stop this. I know there's stuff we can talk about. I know there's stuff we can talk about. I need podcast. Podcast. Maybe I should slow down the coffee podcast. Mm. But it's hot and it doesn't stay hot long. And I got up here this morning only because I'm not a quitter. I'm not afraid of these people. And I'm not going to let them get under my skin for no way. I mean, that's like you're losing the battle, preparing to lose the war. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep putting these out. I pray you all please write something in the comments. I checked into a few videos that I'm thinking about dropping. But again, I really could use your insight. I don't know what people would like to see or talk about. This is all new to me. I wear all the hats. I'm the producer, I'm the electrician, I'm the podcaster, I'm the sound mixer, I'm all those things. Well, I'm learning this at the same time because the starter kits were purchased for me for Christmas. And I went from there. And I started broadcasting every day because the algorithms were so low. And I couldn't figure that out either. But usually when I was doing anything, editing or anything, I wasn't looking, I would look and see I didn't have comments. Or maybe one or two, and then I would come back. And yesterday and the day before, and I think the day before that, I had some that made me just want to hang up a shingle. People can be very cruel. Um, I hope that that's not the case. I kept thinking, well, maybe they're kidding. Not so much. They're not kidding. It was in limo, out of limo, which is why I haven't spoken to those people in 12 years. I will speak to his brothers, his older and younger brother. I wouldn't waste my breath on the rest of them. I might call 911 if they were dying. I might miss out a couple times. Mm. So enough about haters, which is again why I ask people, no hate, no hate, no hate. I get that. And if I don't get it on the stream or in the comments, I get it, a private message to me. It's like an all-out attack in the past week. I know it looks like I might be quiet, but I'm not. My eyes are just killing me. So, on that, we're just going to go bye-bye with that. We did check. I didn't like what I saw about them firing on the starving Gazans, that the IDF would fire at all is amazing to me. I watched Hamas riding on the trucks that were their aid trucks with RPGs and stuff on the roof. Then they protested and Hamas shot them. This time they just mobbed the truck and the Israelis shot them. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. I see that the Fannie Willis, and I don't care how you pronounce her name, I really could give a rat's butt. Um, that was closed, and the judge, who's a Jew, will be back in a week. I'm sorry, 2 weeks, he said, to give his rendering verdict. I still don't know why it was not a trial by jury. That's my eyes. And, the minute I stop this broadcast, my eyes will be fine. Um, so I said, okay, well, there's not much there. Trying to pick up some news. I saw a little bit of Billy Carson. I like him. It's very good. He's a good writer, good talker. Talks about the Zachariah Sitchin stories. Amazing man Sitchin was. But he didn't translate those things. They were already translated 100 years before he looked them up. He just put it in English. Dang it. So, no, he did not decipher the cuneiform writings that these books of his were premised on. He just translated them to English to the best of his ability and wrote a few books. And the books are magnificent. Billy Carson has written a few books, and his are too, about the term is ancient aliens. I mean, it's ancient gods, ancient aliens. They were extraterrestrial, whichever way you look at it. Angels, so forth. You get to the New Testament, you don't hear about that so much. What happened to the angels? What happened to God's messengers? Where are the prophets? It just seems so strange to not see that in the New Testament. I mean, you get everyone about Yeshua and all that. I see my cats are tearing up my living room, and I really just don't care today. I get there later. That I found interesting that was not being done. Um, I see that people are disappearing, especially in the national parks. Don't know why. Alaska, per se, on square footage, is having more people go missing than several states in the United States put together. That's not good. I haven't seen anything on Iceland to catch it. We didn't have any earthquakes, tornadoes, although either Mecca or Dubai did. They had a blizzard. We won't forget the hail. What is going on? Well, the other thing I can figure out that's going on is that when I read Revelations, I like to go through the Left Behind series. I know there's a lot of them, but you find that when you read one and then you go and check it out in the Bible, it makes so much sense in today's world. And they're writing this in today's world. It's not a new Bible. It's not a new translation of a Bible. It's not how you should believe by versus what you should not believe. It's totally fiction, but using revelation as to what's going on. Left Behind is the first book, which tells you a lot. The rapture, and they were left behind. But the it's written very, very, very well. And this is why they've got 28 books they sell. By the way, don't buy a book on Amazon Kindle because they don't pay the author for those. I learned the hard way. No, they charge the customer to get the Kindle book to have it read to them or however. However, none of those proceeds go to the original author. None of them. They get royalties only if a book sells. So please at least pass on that information. If you want to read a book, get the blooming book because otherwise Amazon's making a fortune off of an author who worked their butts off. And I think most of us believe in fair play more than that. Um, I didn't again have a heck of a lot that I saw this morning that was even interesting. Uh, the IDF, I don't know what's going on. They said they would consider a ceasefire, and the only thing that's standing is Rafah, but that they would consider it if they let all the hostages go and didn't allow Hamas any foothold in Gaza ever again, if there are any left. But their basic idea was return the hostages, we kill all of Hamas, and we'll leave you alone. I really can't argue that point. They do know where those stashes of weapons are. They know they were in their schools, their hospitals, their daycares, their homes. They knew. They knew. So I can't see that any Palestinian is unaware of the power that they gave Hamas because the Palestinians are and maybe still are paid if their son goes and kills as they say, Zionist Jewish person. They took Thais, they took Americans that day in October 7th. So it wasn't just the Israelis they took. And they want a prisoner swap. Well, the last time we had that, they sent one. Israel sent 1,000. So I can't for the life of me cannot understand why these people are protesting about this. What are they protesting? That they didn't kill all of the Jews? They protesting that the Israelis are defending themselves for the first time since 70, what was it, 73 or 4, the last one? And I'm watching these. I try to watch both sides because there are two sides to everything. But when I see footage of a man carrying an RPG, dressed in a woman's hijab, running through the ER doors, going to the back to the tunnel, I got a problem with that. No, I do not ever want to see a baby bag. Again, a body bag with a baby. I just don't. Or for that matter, a body bag for anybody. But there's got to be more body bags if they don't stop. Now, they've been bombing northern Israel. They had to displace another 180,000 people because they were more, it was Lebanon that was attacking. I think they took them out quite effectively, but we'll see. Another ship sank in the Red Sea after being attacked. And I think it was by Lebanon. You've got Syria, you've got Iran, you've got Iraq, you've got Turkey, you've got all these places these people could go. Sure, Egypt ain't letting them in. Don't know why. But I do say that my Corps of Engineers, our Army Corps of Engineers, should go over there and see how the hell they built that fence, because that puppy was up in a day. You can't make this up. They didn't pitter patter around. That fence was up. The other thing I'm wondering about is why they are building a concrete block in the middle behind the concertina wire and the fence. They're building this huge concrete building. We don't know why. Um, I think I even saw tents, but I'm not sure for a fact if that was where that was being shown. That could have been Gaza. I'm catching this in drips and drabs from different channels. So I really don't have much I want to talk about today, which is unusual for me because, as I have said before, parents said I had to get the gab. Didn't know me long, but they said I had that. I didn't take any grief as a kid. Um, Karate classes when I was very young, stayed with that, was an athlete the whole time I was in high school, graduated twice, graduated junior college, and went active duty on delayed employment, or delayed entry. Wonder when I put in that coffee. I'm sorry, but I delayed entry. So while I was on delayed entry, they changed the WAC Corps, phased them out, made everybody go regular Army. We were the first company of women to do that at Fort Jackson. I was 3rd Bravo, 3rd Battalion, Bravo Company at Fort Jackson here. Turns out a bunch of people in the meantime had trained at Fort Jackson. And it's like old home week for me. I enjoy going to the VA, just talk to the other vets, and we all have something in common, something. If it's KP, it's nothing else. So that's always nice. And I got through all that very easily. Today I have to try to get a hold of my primary caregiver because I am a slightly bit worried that my medications might be running out. Oh, that's because there aren't any to reorder. And I had to cry off of her appointment, which was December 23rd. So I just couldn't make it. I couldn't be everywhere, and I have to rest in between when I do things as it is. So, and I hate to even put that out there because then somebody else will know I got a weakness, but I also have an equalizer, so we're good to go. So, those of you who do know me, those of you who don't want to insult me, and if you do, go right ahead. I am praying to see you guys. If there's a different format and you have seen me, drop it in the comments. Hit live chat. Do whatever you want to do, but please tickle the like button. Or the dislike button. Tickle something. Share it if you can. If you like the content. If you think it could be better content, please tell me. Put it in the comments. I'm not asking for 1 million views. I just really wanted, 1,000, maybe a little over, enough to where we could just sit down and jam out if we wanted to. And I don't believe, and I know I'm not the only one that feels the way I do. I'm not it, because I talk to them all the time when I'm out. Maybe they're afraid to step forward. I don't know. Everything we do, they know what we purchased, when we purchased it, where we purchased it, why we purchased it. They know all those things. Even the License Bureau has your DNA, has your thumbprint, has your iris. It has everything. When a police officer stops you, they know who you are, how old you are, when you got your license, if you have your insurance. Yeah, they already know all those things. There's no point nowadays and people going, I got to turn that off. It's going to still film me. You can turn it off all day long. They still film you. But they think it's cute that you don't know that. Politics? I don't do politics, but I'll touch on them. Trump seems to be winning massive amounts of people, which in this whole is really hysterically funny because several states, including Illinois, the Chicago 2, Fannie Willis and her boyfriend, must be nice to be her boyfriend. Boy made nearly $1 million to do whatever. That's never been made clear. So it's good to have, to be the queen and have unlimited resources. Apparently, if you get into office, you can just spend what you want. It's amazing. I should go be a politician. I might be better at that than this from what little bit I've gotten in review. Uh, I'm not trying to write a book again or yet. I just wanted us to have a discussion. I wanted to look at the things that were happening. I wanted to know why they're not telling us that 4 volcanoes went off last week. I want to know why there's 10 earthquakes just in Texas alone. I, there's so much that can be discussed. What happened on Maui? It doesn't seem to be a natural fire. Also, they showed that those with blue in their makeup, their roofs, their color of their home, and they showed a lot of blue ones from the air. They weren't touched. Now let that one sink a little bit. Now we're talking about homes in the a vast wasteland where everything burnt to the ground. But these homes that had blue roofs and so forth are unharmed. So they decided to check this out. It apparently happened somewhere else as well, but those who had blue in the makeup of their homes were not hurt. Their homes were fine. And it turns out that even with a blowtorch, blue might bubble a little, but it doesn't catch on fire. So just when I think I've learned everything, I found something new. But there's some things that are going down about this fire. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Uh, a lot of people died in that fire. Apparently, we're not warned. We're not told. I don't know. But it was a vicious fire. Vicious. I mean, it tore Maui up. So we still don't know what happened there. Um, I'm not sure how many more volcanoes are either going off, started going off, or are still going off this day. I couldn't catch that today either. Most of the news, and mind you, I don't watch American news because it's just it's political news. It's, for a person like me who doesn't vote because I'm not stupid, they've already elected the president well before the November vote. For God's sakes, watch TV. You'll catch up. Google it, and they'll tell you the Electoral College votes in the president. I mean, how much more? I mean, everybody uses Google. How much more do you think you can learn by that? You don't have no questions about why you got to go out and vote in November? If the Electoral College does vote in the president, supposedly on the lines that their people wanted them to vote, not sure how that works. All I know is all my life, even my father said he would not vote because the Electoral College voted in the president. So I began to pay attention, and he was absolutely right. That president is picked before you go to the polls. They may not blurb it out a lot, but every one of them that walks on there say they won the red state, they won the blue state. Those are the votes right there, well before November. But I digress. We all know we can't find City Hall because, well, we could, but we're not hunting Biden. We didn't open 20 shell countries to put $30-40 million through. So, we're the ones that are going to go to jail. This guy, he had it going on. No need to bother him. Same with this DA. She stole money and stole money and stole money and stole money. They got 2 or 3 whistleblowers, out of her office who have said where they took the grant money from. Her answer was, well, he might have bought the trip and then I just gave him cash back. This in money tree? I don't use banks. Well, you can't if you want a paper trail. If you don't, how about to pay him on the down low? Where she was getting the money, none of us know. They seem to have proved that everybody had their hand in the cookie jar as far as the grants were concerned. As far as a lot of that stuff was concerned, she was right in there. Um, and then it was grant money. This wasn't money that she had in her mattress. I still fidget. She did not have this money in her mansion. She had this money somewhere, maybe the Cayman Islands. I don't know. But apparently, since then, she and whatever the boy's name is, I don't know, have stopped dating since then. I'm not sure what the whole dating thing is about, except the $1 million payoff the man got, and the fact that they went wine tasting, they went to the Bahamas, they went. I think even Belize was mentioned. Apparently, Atlanta thinks they can just take what they want of grant money and the people's taxes and have a good time. It certainly worked for them. They had a good time. I don't know if they thought they wouldn't get caught, if they didn't care if they got caught, because Karen there, Miss Willis, totally was a Karen the whole time she was up there, and the judge backed her. Then it came out that they had cell phone records, smartphone records, whatever you want to say, of how many calls, when they called, where they were calling from. So the next day, the judge comes out and he's being a little bit more like a judge. He's not telling the cross attorneys to shut up. That's been asked and answered. He's not telling people in the stand, shut up. If they ask you a question, then you can talk. Watch some of the video from this. This is in your face. We ripped you off. And the judge in this case should have been recused from the instant he saw it, because he knows he contributed to this broad's campaign. Oh, he had the wife do the other two contributions, but they gave her nearly 1,000. Why do you people keep giving politicians money? Why is it okay to give politicians so much money that they can afford $3 million commercials? I really don't think that many people are that stupid, or that they continue to contribute. I think this is all lobbyist money, and they're saying that the people are contributing, because I can't imagine anyone being silly enough to give that woman campaign funds anymore, at least after hearing what she did. I don't hear of anybody going to jail. The judge, we'll have to use that, said he'd come in and give his verdict in 2 weeks. Was he not paying attention through the trial? 2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks so they can figure out this can be thrown out, this can be thrown out? Of course it is. It's not rocket science. You're going to know. I see I'm getting close to my time off here. So once again, I'm going to put out a broad SOS here. Come help me. Come help me. Say like, put something in the comments. Tell me to go screw them. Don't pay attention. Something. So I know that I am not wasting your time. My time, I don't care. I'm enjoying doing it. Yeah, Pixie. Yikes. Only when I'm about done. She's going to get on my there. She's learned to hide a little bit. This is another bottle fed. This is the one I saved her eye. You can see what her hair is. She's tickling my hair. She must. You can't have the earphones. That was Pixie. So anyway, yeah, I have a cat sanctuary, I guess I should say. I may have to block a few people. We'll put it that way. I haven't taken that step yet. I did put a few of them on hold for 30 days. What you quit saying? What you doing? No. It's like everything that can go wrong has this morning. I had a wardrobe malfunction. I had a jewelry malfunction. I couldn't breathe. My eyes wouldn't start falling. So there was the makeup problem. And I keep hitting that thing. I keep it kind of close because I do hear a reverb occasionally. I must raise my voice then. But my voice was going too low for it to be heard unless you turned your TV up real loud. I had 132 more listeners, and I was dancing. I got a bum knee, bum back. I was still dancing. Um, So I have to believe that what all of us could do here is the right thing. That it is going to be entertainment. That we all want to know what the other one has to say about something. Does everybody think it's okay to triple the prices of things overnight? I also saw New York froze all the truck drivers' funds. All of them, they were out there protest. I don't know why they didn't think they were going to do that. I said they would, and they did. So they can't make they can't make payments. They can put gas in. They can't do nothing because their accounts are all frozen. And these are all independents, so it's not like they can get the company to tell them they had to or get out of the truck. And that's just a little bit, if you want my opinion, scary. That's not freedom of speech. That's not freedom to congregate. When they were doing this and they were burning down Seattle and San Francisco and ports unknown and police officers being shot in the head, they didn't have a problem with that. The problem they have is that the New York City truck drivers have said, what you've just done in court against a former president is not legal. I didn't catch yet whether that had been rescinded and a different judge had taken. I don't know where that stands. That I do know that they barred former President Trump from doing any business in New York for 3 years, and they threw his two sons in for 2 years. I don't know what they did. They just threw them in because they could, I guess. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden's laptop is somewhere floating around since 2016. But let's get a former president. It's just what? I can't even use the term America anymore. I never liked the term United States. Again, it came out in the Civil War, and when the South lost it, it's the United States because they didn't want people to think we were trying to kill each other still. Now you can't make this up, even with history. I saw Göbekli Tepe again this morning, real quick, and I like seeing that show, talking about artifacts out of place, that I found. And I stuck on that one time or maybe two times. In any event, if there's anything you want to talk about, if you want to ask me about the library of Sennacherib, Nineveh, anything along those lines, I love history. I love talking about them. You want to talk politics? Might not get as much out of me. Yes, I'm usually not much to say to them. There's Josh Hawley. I like that boy. I like that boy. He's one of the few that I would walk in and say, you're all fired. There's only a few. There's only a handful. And he, I guess, ran and got a second term. Uh, it can't be me. Come and see me. Try. It, what have we got to lose but to continue to try to show people that it's social Woodstock? We can use this medium. We can talk to each other. We can ask each other. We can find the answers. If one of us don't know it, somebody does. And I see by my counter I'm getting up there. And since I can't see this morning very well, as you could tell, I think I'll just throw it in the can real quick. I don't think I've been very entertaining this morning. And I did try to touch on a few events, which is another reason I said I might start dropping videos. My problem was which videos? The paranormal, the political, tell me. I still have live chat. Don't have nobody this morning, but it's still up there. If you see it, like it, comment, subscribe. It's free. If you decide you don't want to say subscribe, just like 20 seconds to take it down. If you don't like the content, say so. I'll change the content. Well, I will work with anyone that has any suggestions whatsoever, whatever it is you want to talk about, whatever it is you want to see. And there's quite a few of us out here now, from what I can see. No, we're not all Joe Rogan. Yeah, but there are a few of us. And even they are dropping a video here, there, especially about the Fannie Willis thing. So try not to get into politics because I'm not nice. At least not to these guys. You know. I know there's also people out there that want to know how come they don't get their money back if they've not had a ticket in 30 years. How come insurance gets to keep all that money? You know, shout out, tell me that you're tired of it. You're not going to take it no more. It's time for the government to say you got to give the money back. They didn't use it. And they know we feel that way. That's why they started going, but if you do the speed limit and you don't have heavy braking, we'll give you $25 back per year. They owe me thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Unemployment insurance owes me probably $500,000. I never took any of it. Why can't I have that back? Maybe because they're afraid of us if we do have enough money to actually do something because we're not pinned by that 8 to 5 job, that we just might be able to say, hey, Congress, you're fired. Now, I don't mean the Senate and the House, I mean Congress. Both of you are fired, except for Mr. Hawley. I love that guy. And the that young lady from Georgia, she fight Marjorie something. I can't think of her name. She fights pretty good. I think she's around my age. She's not a young chick, and that's the other thing I never understood about politics. If you're 54, you can get in politics till you're 90. You're just my age. Well, you might want to try that later. But I see again, my time is about to go. So please, if you see me, if you hear about me, if you're a friend of mine or an acquaintance of mine on Facebook, hit the like button for the love of God. I can't do this without you guys. I don't even want to do it without you. So I'm praying that you will come see me, that you will give me content that you want explored, that you will talk to me on something that you've explored. Anything and everything is in the title. That's why it's there. I don't care if you want to talk about how pretty the moon was yesterday. We will talk about that. So once again, have a better day than I am. And I guess I'll get off here and quit boring you guys. Come see me. Toodles.